Hi, my name's Alex. In this video, we're going to be making an infinite riser. It sounds like this. All right, let's get started. So to make this sound, we're going to be using Arturia Pigments. And it's actually a pretty simple sound to make in Pigments. And we'll start by pulling up our instance of Pigments and going to a new preset. So we have a blank slate. And we'll start by changing the sound engine 1 to our harmonic sound engine. And the harmonic sound engine is an additive sound engine. So basically what this is, when we play a key on our sound engine here, it's playing a whole bunch of sine waves at different frequencies. And the basis for this sound, this hell rising Shepard's tone, is each of these sine waves are going to rise. So we're going to change our partial modulation mode to Shepard and change the window size to the entire window here, and we're going to modulate this phi to achieve our sound. So the way that I have this set up is this is tuned down 12 semitones, and here we have the Shepard's setting for the partial modulation mode. The position doesn't matter, keep the gain. Then we're going to change the ratio. The ratio is going to move our sine waves around, and we're going to set it to somewhere around like a little bit out of tune here. And then we're going to change the shape so that we're emphasizing certain sine waves more than others. So you can see these sine waves here are louder, softer, louder. And the tilt, we're going to move that slightly over, so we're emphasizing the higher frequencies a little bit more. And the tilt offset, we'll raise that, so we're emphasizing the higher frequencies a bit more. This is kind of like a filter on top of our sine waves. We're not going to need that, but we will need our imaging here, and we're going to use a random mode. Turn the rate all the way up, the depth all the way up, and now kind of like panning the sine waves to the sides a little bit. Sounds more hellish, bigger stereo image if we're going to be immersed. Our partials, I had this changed down to 32, somewhere around here. So that is the basis for this harmonic sound engine. Now we need to have this rise slowly. To do that, we're going to be using our function modulator. The function modulators in Pigments are kind of like envelopes and LFOs at the same time. / there's a lot more you can do with them. They're very interesting. So we're going to drag this one all the way over here because we are rising. And we are going to click up here and then hover over the phi. So you see that green. And then turn the modulation amount all the way up. And it sounds like this right now. And what we're going to do is slow down that rising. So we're going to change the rate on our function from sync into hertz and slow it down. And you basically have your Shepard's tone right now. If you just hold it down, it'll sound like it's rising infinitely. And this will eventually loop back around, and you can't really tell once we are done with doing all the things we're going to do with it. One thing I want to do before we go on further is I'm going to bring the cutoff down a bit here because those high frequencies bother me a little bit. But let's add a little more. Use this on low pass 12 here. So that's with the filter on, off, make it less grating. The next thing I'm going to do is set up the second sound engine to do basically the same thing, but we're going to change the rate a little bit and maybe some of the settings here a little bit. So we have a whole bunch of different sine waves rising, but they're at slightly different rates. So I'll show you what I mean here. Change this to our harmonic sound engine. We'll keep this tuned how it is. Change our partial modulation mode over to Shepard. Full window size. Bring the phi setting down. And I'm going to turn the ratio up here. Good. And also let's add random imaging. So this is, let's maybe do it a little bit different so that the panning is slightly different here. Turn down our partials a bit. Click function 2. And now I'm dragging above here. And now you see we are rising fast again. Same deal. Hertz. And we'll change it to a different rate here. Slightly different. Also very slow. What do we have on our first function? It's 2.9. So this one will have, somewhere around here. So that's going to rise a really long time. It feels like it just keeps going and going and going. The next thing you might want to do is turn this up a bit. Yeah, there we go. So it's turned up a little bit. And then what I like to do is add some effects. So we'll go over to our effects here. And let's change this from a delay to a chorus. And this kind of makes it feel a little more like seasick. I don't know. Up there. As with chorus, without chorus. And one thing I like to do in Pigments, you can tell from this arrows here, this is kind of like the routing you'll see in Pigments. And I like to compress the signal sometimes when it suits me and put it on the last effect in the chain here. Even it out a little bit. I feel like you really get the stereo image better when it's compressed. And then the last thing we're going to add is if we listen back to the original one, you get that buzzing coming in. That's a bit crusher. So we're going to add some bit crusher to our stew here. And we'll add envelope 2 to kind of fade in the bit crushing as this sound goes on. So I have envelope 2 selected here, which means I can add modulators to places. And let's see, somewhere around here and all the way up to the top there. Make sure we turn on the dry wet so we're hearing it. And right now the envelope is happening way too fast. So let's go edit that so that we have this long fade in and full sustain. I think the attack lower. This bit crusher, there's another way you could add this in. Instead of being on the envelope here, we can turn these modulations off and turn on the macro 1 here, and then turn it up while we're adding it. And now you have a devil knob that you can manually control this hellish sound on the Hellraiser with. So that's the Infinite Hellraiser Shepard's tone. If you are interested in learning more about sound design, I have a course on Production Music Live. In this course, you'll really learn the full spectrum of sound design, and you can take it and use it on pretty much any synth in the market. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.